So yesterday we completed with the topic. What was the topic? Boundary conditions for a dielectric interface and boundary conditions for a dielectric conductor interface, right? So again, it is a very important question. Usually a derivation for the boundary conditions is asked, or they ask a numerical based on that. So 99% of the cases, this derivation or the numerical appears in the exam. So it is a very important topic for 10 complete marks. Okay. So the next very important topic again is wave equation, and remember it is also called as Helmholtz equation, because you might get a question derive wave equation or derive Helmholtz equation. So you should know that wave equation is nothing but Helmholtz equation, right? So before this, I'll just recapitulate the Maxwell's equations as I do usually for most of the lectures. So what we have again, integral form and point form, and I usually write it for which fields? Time varying fields, remember. So what you do for static fields, wherever you see dabba by dabba t, you make it 0. So first law is Gauss law for electric field. So what is it? Closed surface integral of d vector dot ds vector equal to q enclosed. Then point form is del dot d vector equal to rho v. Then we have Gauss law for magnetic fields. What is it? Closed surface integral of b vector dot ds vector equal to 0. Then we have del dot b vector equal to 0. Then what we have? We have modified Ampere's law. So it is what? Closed contour integral of h vector dot dl vector equal to surface integral of j vector plus dabba by dabba t d vector dot ds vector. So point form is del cross h vector equal to j vector plus dabba by dabba t d vector. Then finally we have Faraday's law. So what is Faraday's law? Closed line integral of E vector dot dl vector equal to minus dabba by dabba t surface integral of B vector dot ds vector. Then what we have finally? Point form. So point form is del cross E vector is minus dabba by dabba t B vector, right? So these are the Maxwell's equations, and remember they are for time varying fields, right? And what we do for static fields, wherever we see dabba by dabba t, that term goes away. So this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 0, but this you will have like this, right? So here also this will go. So this integral remains, but that you should remember, right? So let's start with wave equation, right? So again, this is a derivation. So what we do in derivations in this course, we always assume some things, right? So since it is very important, I'll write just some of the sentences at least. So first we say consider a homogeneous isotropic unbound medium, and we assume that it is having no charges. So having no electric and magnetic charge. Okay. So then we go to Maxwell's equation. So from now on, whatever we do, it will be based on Maxwell's equations only. So that's why they are very important. So then, and we'll use the point form. Usually we'll use point form. Only for boundary conditions we use integral form. For all rest of derivations we use point form. So then point form of Maxwell's equations are given as, strictly speaking, it should be can be given as, so are given as, right? So what are the point forms? These four are the point form, right? No need to mention the laws, we can just mention the equations. But what we are assuming, no electric and magnetic charge, right? So there are no charges, right? So rho v should be 0 because there is no charge. Since there is no charge q, so there is no question of volume integral rho v dv. So rho v will be 0. This is already 0, right? Since there is no charge again, so there is no question of rate of change of charge. Since there is no rate of change of charge, there is no current flowing. And what is J vector? It is current density, conduction current density, right? So it should not be there. So this is also not there. So we have what? So we have del dot D vector equal to 0, del dot B vector equal to 0. Then here J is 0. So del cross H vector is dabba by dabba T B vector. Then what we have? This cannot be 0. So del cross E vector is minus dabba by dabba T B vector. So del cross E is minus dabba by dabba T B vector. Right? So then we will require to refer this equation. So name them as 1, 2, 3 and 4. Fine. So then we say we know that some students or some people should write in brackets. Do we actually know? So we know that what we know, D vector is epsilon E vector, then B vector is mu H vector, right? So D vector is epsilon E vector, B vector is mu H vector. So this we already know, right? So let's say this is equation 5, this is equation 6. Okay, so substitute them here. So what will we get? So put 5 in 1. So what will we get? Del dot epsilon E vector is 0. So what I can say? Del dot epsilon E vector equal to 0. So I can say therefore del dot E vector equal to 0. So this becomes my equation number 7, right? So this will become what? Del dot mu H is 0. So I'll write directly del dot H vector equal to 0. So this is equation 8. I have substituted here. So you write that, put 6 in 2 and whatever, right? Similarly, I'll substitute D vector is epsilon E, B is mu H here. So what will I get? Del cross H equal to epsilon I can take outside. So epsilon dabba by dabba T E vector. And del cross E vector is minus mu dabba by dabba T H vector. So this is equation 9. This is equation 10. Don't worry about the number of equations. You just concentrate on what I am doing. Again, don't by heart derivations. You should know the concept. What I have done, you should know Maxwell's equations by heart now. Right? So I have taken them. I have assumed no electric and magnetic charge. So corresponding things become 0. Then you should know these equations. D is epsilon E, B is mu H. We are seeing this from the so many lectures. So just substitute them here. So you are getting these 4 equations. So none of the equations you have to add. Right? So we are getting these 4 equations now, right? So let's take any of the equation, any of this 9 or 10. So I'll take equation number 10 because usually we are concerned with electric field. Now why I am saying we are concerned with electric field, that will come to know in the due course of lectures. Okay. So that was equation 10, right? So I take curl on both sides. So taking curl on both sides of equation 10. What will we get? We have del cross E. So it will become del cross E vector equal to minus del cross mu dabba by dabba T H vector, right? But del is what? A vector, right? So these are scalars. So I can take this outside. So this is equal to minus mu dabba by dabba T del cross H vector, right? So this is what I get. So now we say, now we know that you can use this short form in the exam also. What we know, it is a standard mathematical identity for this term. So it is, now we know that del cross A vector is del of del dot A vector minus del square A vector, right? So this is a standard mathematical identity. Don't ask me why we get in this, how we get it this. You can ask your math teacher. So therefore, what will this become? A is replaced by E. So we'll get del of del dot E vector minus del square E vector equal to minus mu dabba by dabba T del cross H vector. But now what we know, del dot E vector, what is it? 0. What is del cross H vector? It is epsilon dabba by dabba T E vector. So what equations we are using? 7 and 9. So we say from equations 7 and 9, what we get, this is 0. So this will be what, minus del square E vector equal to minus del cross H is what again, epsilon dabba by dabba t E vector. So epsilon dabba by dabba t are again scalars, so I can club them with this. So equal to minus mu epsilon dabba by dabba t 2 times is coming. So I'll write dabba square by dabba t square. What will it be? E vector only, right? So E vector, right? So if I cancel the negative sign, what will it be? Del square E vector equal to mu epsilon dabba square by dabba t square E vector. So this is our very important equation called as wave equation. Fine. So you can say similarly del square H vector equal to mu epsilon dabba square by dabba t square H vector. So how you can prove for H vector? So I said take any of these equations, but we prefer electric field, so I took this. So take this and solve in the same way, take curl on both sides, etc. You will get this equation. Okay, so these are called as wave equations or Helmholtz equation, as I said at the start of the lecture. Okay, so but usually they don't ask in the question in this way, derive wave equation or Helmholtz equation. They ask derive wave equation in terms of harmonic fields. Okay, so this is obviously required, so I'll tell you how to write it in terms of harmonic fields. So next is, so if some students are concerned, sir, why is it called as wave equation? Why we call it as wave equation? Wave kahan se aaya sir? So that we'll see after this topic and today only. So wave equation in terms of harmonic fields. So let us consider an arbitrary F vector in space and time. What do you mean by in space and time? Space means coordinate system x, y, z. Time means t. So therefore F vector of, since it is in space and time, so x, y, z of t, and it will be equal to what? It is F vector. So it is F vector of dependent on x, y, z or a function of x, y, z. I can write the t term explicitly as e raised to j omega t. So now you might say, sir, how you got e raised to j omega t? Now what happens is, do you see any time term here? No, right? But we have used what we have used? We have used time varying fields, right? So obviously time should be there, right? Obviously, sorry, here we have time, but in most of the equations, especially if you go in the next semester, we'll be having antenna and radio wave propagation course. So there you will see many such equations, more complicated than this, I'll tell you, but you will never see a time t there. So what is the reason? But you know that somehow through the antenna the wave will propagate, right? The signal will propagate. So what will happen? It will obviously depend on time, but you don't see any time there, time term there, I mean, right? So it is an implicit term. So that implicit term is this. So now, so whenever we require, we explicitly introduce that term, right? So far again we have, wherever we didn't see time, unless for static fields, it was there, but it was implicit. So here also it is implicit. So what I have done, I have written it explicitly, and that term is what? E raised to j omega t. Okay. So why it is e raised to j omega t? Because what is e raised to j theta cos theta plus j sin theta? Everything all usually exists in what? Cosine and sine waves, right? So that is the reason it is e raised to j omega t. So that we'll also see after this topic. Okay. So now just differentiate this with respect to time t. So what you will get? What will get? Therefore, this will become dabba by dabba t f vector of x, y, z, t equal to, this is not a function of time, f vector, right? So it will act as a constant. So it will be as it is. So f vector of x, y, z. derivative of e raised to j omega t with respect to time will be same. So into e raised to j omega t into j omega, right? Because it is multiplied by that term, right? So therefore dabba by dabba t f vector of x comma y comma z comma t equal to what? J omega f vector x y z into e raised to j omega t. Let's say this is equation 1, right? So what I can say from equation 1, what is this term? F vector of x y z e raised to j omega t. It is nothing but f vector of x y z t. So therefore dabba by dabba t f vector of x y z t equal to j omega. Replace this by this, j omega f vector of x y z t. So what you see, these two are same. So what you can see, this implies dabba by dabba t is j omega. So this is very important. So you might have seen this in communication subjects also. Your teachers might have told you to replace dabba by dabba t is j omega. So if ever you wondered why it was this, because of this reason. So I have proved that dabba by dabba t can be replaced by j omega. So let's go to our wave equation. So what was our wave equation? So as I said, usually they ask derive wave equation in terms of harmonic fields, or they might ask derive Helmholtz equation in terms of harmonic fields, right? So what will it be? So you will say after this, you will derive in the same way. Same, consider a homogeneous isotropic unbound medium having no electric and magnetic charge. Then point form of Maxwell's equations are given as same way. Then go here, same way. You prove that this is wave equation. Then further you write in terms of harmonic fields, we replace dabba by dabba t with j omega. Therefore del square e vector equal to, what is dabba by dabba t is j omega, but this is dabba square by dabba t square. So it will be what? J omega the whole square. So j square omega square. What is j square? Minus 1, right? So this sign will be minus. So minus omega square mu epsilon. Remember, dabba square by dabba t square is replaced by minus omega square. So I will just have e vector, right? So this is my wave equation in terms of harmonic fields. Similarly, for h vector, you will have del square h vector equal to minus omega square mu epsilon h vector, right? So this is my wave equation in terms of harmonic fields, right? So very simple derivation again. If you know Maxwell's equations, okay, and rest all you just have to do mathematics, right? So don't buy at these equations, right? So again, this is a very important question. So next question is, as I said, after this topic we'll see why is it called as wave equation, right? So let's see why is it called as wave equation. So let me write down the electric field form of wave equation in terms of harmonic field. So it is what? Minus So it is what? Minus omega square mu epsilon e vector. So this is in terms of what? Harmonic fields, right? So what we do? So we have this was as wave equation in terms of harmonic fields, right? So if you observe, omega square is what? 2 pi f mu epsilon. So if you decide a frequency, this term is constant, right? So let's replace, let minus omega square mu epsilon, this is epsilon, equal to gamma square, right? So therefore del square e vector equal to gamma square e vector, right? And let's say that what is del square? Del square is dabba square by dabba x square plus dabba square by dabba y square plus dabba square by dabba z square, right? So let's say x and y are constant, so only there is variation in z, right? So I can see what? this goes to 0, this goes to 0 because they are constant. So derivative of a constant is 0. So therefore dabba square by dabba z square, and this means what I am saying is just a function of z. So I can replace dabba by d square. So d square by dz square e vector equal to gamma square e vector, right? Now this is what, which sort of equation I mean. You have seen this in mathematics. I don't remember which year, most probably in second year. This is what a differential equation of order 2, right? So what is the solution of a differential equation of order 2? And it is a function of z only. So we can say e of z equal to e plus e raised to minus gamma z plus e minus e raised to plus gamma z, right? So this is the standard solution of the differential equation of order 2. You can refer your books, you will get this. You might have used complementary function particular integral, so use that and you will get this, right? And what is this? Gamma, right? So again there is no time term, you if you see here, right? So we'll require it. So now I'll introduce it explicitly. So therefore e of z comma t equal to e plus e raised to j omega t से multiply हो जाएगा both sides, right? So what will it be? j omega t minus gamma z, sorry, gamma z plus e minus e raised to j omega t plus gamma z, right? And this gamma is usually a complex number. So you see this is minus omega square mu epsilon equal to gamma square. So what is gamma? Square root of minus omega square mu epsilon, right? So it is usually alpha plus j beta. In our case alpha is 0, right? So gamma is j beta, right? So I am writing in terms of beta. So therefore e of z comma t equal to e plus e raised to j times, I am taking j also common because gamma is what? J beta. So j times omega t minus beta z plus e minus e raised to j times omega t plus beta z, right? So I said alpha is 0, but let's say alpha is not 0. I'll take a general case. So here alpha is 0, but I'll take a general case. So if alpha is not 0 and if you solve, what will get? To avoid confusion, I'll use a different pen. So it gets multiplied by e raised to minus alpha z because you cannot take common. Okay. So this is what we get. So let me write it again. So what you get? E vector equal to e plus e raised to minus alpha z e raised to j times omega t minus beta z plus e minus e raised to alpha z e raised to j times omega t plus beta z, right? So this is what you get. So let's try to analyze this equation. So as I said, don't just see the equations as mere mathematical equations. Try to understand what they are telling. Okay, so this is what we are trying to do, right? So let me draw a graph first. So it is dependent on time because t term is there, right? So let me say this is my z axis and this is my time axis. Okay, so obviously this will be a sinusoidal waveform, right? So e raised to j times omega t minus beta z is what? Cos of omega t minus beta z plus j times sine of omega t minus beta z, cos theta plus j sine theta, right? Similarly this will be cos theta plus j sine theta के form में, right? So what you can do, I'll assume for simplicity there are no imaginary terms, means I am assuming only cos of omega t minus beta z. So this is what I am assuming, right? So this is my t axis. So substitute t equal to 0. So what you get? Cos of minus beta z. So we know cos of minus theta is cos theta. So it is nothing but at t equal to 0 cos of beta z, right? So what will happen at z equal to 0? So this is my z equal to 0, it will be maximum, right? So it is maximum here. Then it is a sinusoidal waveform, right? So it will just go like this, right? So I have assumed that t equal to 0, right? So this is for t equal to 0, this waveform I mean, right? So but time will not be constant, it will just go on passing, right? So as time passes, this vector is changing. That is what we understand from this equation, first thing, right? So I now take some t. So this was, let's say, t1. So I take now t2, says that t2 is greater than t1, means t2 is greater than 0. Let's say it is 1 second, 2 second or something, right? So this will become 2 times omega minus beta z, right? So here also you'll get 2 omega minus beta z, right? So again, if you calculate this, you can take any arbitrary values and solve. So what will happen is the waveform will be somewhat like this. Obviously they will be symmetric about this. So then take one more example, a time t3 such that it is greater than t2. So what we'll observe is, this is my z axis. So this sort of waveform will be there. So you might say, sir, this is almost same. So if you observe closely, it is not same. What is happening? Let me use a different sketch pen now. So what is happening? Let's say this is my point P. Okay. Now you should get this, that only time is changing, right? Means even though you see three waveforms, they are nothing but one and the same waveform, but at different time instants. I repeat, you are seeing one equation only. So only time is changing means that electric field is changing. So this is nothing but electric field at different times. So this is one entity only, right? So this is point P at t equal to 0. What is happening at the next point? This is the peak point. So this peak point has shifted towards right. What is happening at further time? This has shifted towards right. Right? Means what is happening? If I draw this, it is a straight line which is going forward along z. Right? It is passing along the positive direction. Right? So means this is nothing but not a signal now. It is what? A wave. Right? So we started with what? We started with simple Gauss law, sorry, Coulomb's law, etc. We started with only static charge. Right? So we had only static charge. Then we went to magnetostatics. So where we studied magnetic charges. Then we went to Gauss law. So slowly we went from keeping the charge static. So then we meant it in Ampere's and Faraday's law. We started moving it. So there was dq by dt. So what is it? Current. Means we got what? Change of charge. So we got current, right? So then we, from Ampere's law, we said that whenever a current flows through a conductor, magnetic field flows around it, right? And from charge we get what? Electric field, right? And from magnetic field, sorry, from Maxwell's equations, we saw that they are dependent on time. So they are time varying, right? So these fields are what? They are actually waves, right? So this is what? A forward traveling wave, right? So we have taken for omega t minus beta z, right? So this indicates what? So this term is what? This whole term indicates forward traveling wave, right? And this term is what? This is the constant term, so it indicates attenuation. That's why alpha is called as attenuation constant. So this we'll see in detail in transmission line, so I'll not go into detail that. But what I have proved, that this term indicates that the wave is traveling forward, that, or the signal is traveling forward. So this signal which we were calling so far is not a signal anymore. It is actually what? A wave, and it is traveling wave, right? And similarly, if you do for this, it is omega t plus beta z. So it will come out to be a backward traveling wave, right? So electric field is nothing but what? A combination of forward and backward traveling wave. So from where we get backward traveling wave, that we'll see in transmission lines. So that is the last module. Okay. So this is about what? Electric field. So similarly, we'll have H vector. So it will be H plus and same things. So only the amplitude will be different. So H vector is also a wave, right? So what I have proved today? So let me use that previous page. Where is it? Yeah. So first I had proved that if I have E vector, obviously I'll have H vector. So A vector is a wave. So obviously H vector should also be a wave. So what I have proved? Existence of electromagnetic wave. So I have proved this also. So significance of Maxwell's equation. Again, why was this possible? Because of Maxwell. So that's why this set of equations is called as Maxwell's equations, even though they were deduced by Heaviside into 4 sets. Okay. So that's what I have proved. So what we have learned today, a very important thing. We have already learned one important thing, that electric field and magnetic fields always go hand in hand. Apart from that, we see that they are not only fields but they are waves, right? And since they always go hand in hand, means E and H is always together, that's why they are called as what? EM waves. Understood? So this is called as electromagnetic wave. So that is, if you are wondering why it is called as electromagnetic wave, because E and H are always together, they cannot be separated, and this, even though they are called as fields, they actually exist in the form of traveling waves. So obviously they have to travel, right? Because if you are talking about mobile communication, the waves which we talk, they obviously have to travel. So that's what we have proved, that they are traveling. So further in due course of lectures, I'll prove that the electromagnetic waves which we have talked about today, it has a finite speed of propagation, and that speed is nothing but speed of light. So that will prove in due course of lectures. Okay, so we'll stop here.